What's up, everybody? Matt Gajewski here, back again with the Odd Shopper channel, and today we're talking some college football bets ahead of the Saturday Week 3 slate. Before we get started, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so when this and all other content goes live. We're also brought to you by Bet365, and they have a phenomenal limited time deal for those of you in Kentucky, Ohio, New Jersey, Virginia, Iowa, Colorado, Louisiana, Indiana, Arizona, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. What you'll do is click the link below, make your first deposit, bet $5 on any team, total market, whatever you want. Whether it wins or loses, you are getting $200 in the form of bonus bets. You must be 21 or older, 18 in Kentucky. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. We're going to do the three biggest games. If you want the full slate breakdown, all the games in depth, head over to Betting You on this very channel. Myself and Ben Raza, we took care of them all. I did my best to rank these games. There's some pretty good ones. So if you have an issue with one of them, you can take it up with me in the comments because I did include the backyard brawl. But that's not where we start. We're going to go to Alabama taking on Wisconsin. And this is a game where near and dear to my heart, having gone to Wisconsin, but I do not have a lot of faith in my Badgers. Personally, rather than laying a 15.5, 16-point spread with the Crimson Tide in a game that has a 50.5 total, behind some offensive line concerns, which we'll get into, I would rather bet against the Wisconsin offense going up against a fierce Alabama defense and take an under on a team total. Right now, you can find Wisconsin under 17.5. These are pretty juiced, so definitely shop it, but I would be okay with, the minus 150 range if you need to, just because of the key numbers. But Wisconsin's been an absolute and utter disaster. They've played two weak teams, Western Michigan. They won 28-14, but the yards per play battle, they actually lost 4.7 to 5.0. And then they beat South Dakota 27-13, messing around with an FCS team. The offenses look putrid. Van Dyke is barely completing 60% of his passes. One touchdown, no interceptions. They're already dealing with some injuries. Tawi Walker, the complement to Ches Malusi's been banged up. He missed their FCS game. Jake Chaney's not playing in the first half of this game, one of their linebackers. He got a targeting. And their defense doesn't look great either. They rank 93rd in run defense. That's going now up against Jalen Milroe. Alabama does have some concerns of their own. I need to at least mention these. They played Western Kentucky, USF, 2 blowout wins, but they've also had some concerns. They're mainly stemming from the offensive line, and they're due to injury. Caden Proctor, their left tackle, hasn't played yet this year. Elijah Pritchett, he only played 6 snaps in their most recent game. That forced them to move one of their guards out to left tackle, and the results were catastrophic. A lot of penalties. Jalen Milroe had a 70-ish yard run called back because of a penalty. He dealt with a lot more pressure that actually got him banged up in the game. I don't think it's any worry here, but a 30% pressure rate allowed from the offensive line against Western Kentucky and USF is not it. They need to get back Proctor. They need to get back Pritchett. Fortunately, they're both practicing, so there should be some optimism here. But regardless, that has nothing to do with that has nothing to do with Wisconsin's inept offense facing an elite Alabama defense. So for me, it is under Wisconsin team total to kick this off. Second game, we will move to LSU taking on South Carolina. A game I like a total in more than anything else. I took a under 52 early in the week. This is hovering around 50. Obviously, find the best number you can. But first point towards an under is pace. LSU is currently 112th in pace, and their pass rate is 59.4%. So there's kind of this perception, and I've been guilty of this too, that LSU's just been like a ground and pound team. And I think that's what they should do, but they've been facing a lot of stacked boxes. Still, the best unit on your team is your offensive line, your running backs running behind that unit. That's your path to victory. South Carolina has an awesome secondary. It's a little bolstered by turnovers at this point, but they do have a little bit of a weakness against the run. They're 77th in run defense and 108th in tackling. So rather than try to throw it over the top, the best path to victory for LSU is ground and pound and then take your situational shot. I don't know if they're smart enough to play that game plan, but regardless, they're playing slow enough where it doesn't matter. On the South Carolina side, this team's 93rd in pace with a 35% pass rate, and they don't have any way to move the ball. football. Lenora Sellers, 54% completion, 7.6 yards per attempt, double the amount of turnover-worthy plays compared to big-time throws. Offensive line allowing a 45% pressure rate. And that defense is bolstered heavily by turnovers, plus they faced Old Dominion, who's one of the worst offenses in the country, and then Brock Vandegrift threw the ball to South Carolina more than he threw it to his own team. I don't know. I still think LSU's defense will turn it around. They had the rough showing against USC and got off to a slow-ish start against Nichols, but you should be able to just stuff the box against Lenora Sellers, Raheem Sanders, and cruise your way to a victory. With the pace being low and the offenses being at least a question on one side and potentially really bad on the other, I will back an under. And before we go to the last game, if you would like access to Tails by OddsShopper, it's a space where all sorts of content creators are releasing all kinds of sports betting packages. I'm on there. Ben's on there. A lot of our content creators are on there. I'll speak to mine specifically. It is college football and college basketball. All these picks generally come out on Sunday, Monday, ahead of the week. So we're trying to get closing line value. We've had good success with that this year. There's a lot of proprietary stuff that only people in that marketplace do see. Player prop stuff, game breakdown stuff. The links are below if you'd have interest in checking that out. All right. And to finish this up, we will go to the aforementioned backyard brawl. West Virginia taking on Pitt. No, it is not the best real-life game. There aren't any sort of national title implications here, but West Virginia Pitt is a game that is near and dear to my heart and one we need to talk about because it's one of the best rivalries in college football and we can't see it go. So in this game, we have West Virginia. They got blown out by Penn State. Then they beat up on an FCS team, Albany. Pittsburgh, they played Kent State, who is probably on the same level as Albany, blew them out, and they played Cincinnati, who was coming into the year with a 5.5 win total in the Big 12. Right now, the line is 2.5, 3 in most spots. The total is around 60. I love West Virginia in this spot. I'm not afraid that it's on the road. I think they're a significantly more talented team. You are buying low on them and selling high on Pitt. I have a lot of concerns with Pitt's roster stemming to the offseason. They were a feeder system to other bigger programs around the country. Dion made fun of Narduzzi straight up for just allowing his players to be poached. Pittsburgh did get some players of their own. A lot of them came from the FCS ranks, but they did get Eli Holstein from Alabama at quarterback. He's looked reasonable through his first 2 games, but his underlying metrics are alarming. Right now, he has 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but he only has 4 big-time throws and 8 turnover-worthy plays. 8 of them. Almost leads the country in this metric. The offensive line's allowing a 34% pressure rate. They already got both of their running backs dinged up in their last game. Their left guard missed week 2. And then on defense, they already lost 2 defensive linemen before the year. That'll play against Kent State, but we even saw Cincinnati have a ton of success with Corey Kiner running the ball. If they didn't give the game away, Pitt would be looking at a 1-1 start. What does West Virginia do? They're on this power run game with Garrett Green, who is involved in that. And then they have 2 elite backs in C.J. Donaldson and Jaheim White. My real concern with the West Virginia side comes on the defense. They have a questionable secondary. They got diced up by Drew Aller and Kotelnicki, the Penn State OC. But it's not just that. They did allow 7.8 yards per attempt to Miles Burkett. He was the Albany signal caller. But, he formerly was at Wisconsin, I believe. He's not just some complete scrub. Regardless, the transfers they brought in from Northwestern have not lived up to expectations. So that is a concern. Can Eli Holstein take care of that? Maybe. He had 66 passing yards before a lot of second-half adjustments from Narduzzi, credit to him, and their OC. Completely ran laps around the Cincinnati coaching staff. I don't think that's going to happen against West Virginia, but crazier things have happened. Bottom line, way more talented team, in my opinion, is West Virginia. We'll lay this anything under a field goal or through 3, I think, is completely fine. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Much appreciated. Hope you have a great weekend. If you want the full breakdowns, myself and Ben Raza took care of them. They're on Betting You. Check them out. Otherwise, we'll be back again early next week with more games. Until then, good luck, and we'll see you next time.